Welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 11 in the National Football League. Kicked off with Thursday Night Football. Indianapolis Colts traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans in a little bit of AFC South family business. Huge matchup in this division with huge ramifications stemming from the outcome of this game. If the Colts win, this division is essentially over and done. If the Colts lose, the Titans will be one game back in the division, and they see this team in 2 weeks in Indy. So this is a huge game with huge, long-reaching consequences. And if you're the Colts in this thing now, put this division out of its misery. There's a bad Jacksonville, a bad Houston football team in this division. It's you and the Titans. You take them out in Tennessee, and this thing is sewn up essentially like a tailor. If you are the Tennessee Titans, the blueprint was laid for you a week ago by the St. Louis Rams. Get to Andrew Luck, stop the run, force the issue, force some turnovers, play winning football, you don't turn it over, yada, 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 so the story goes. But it's easier said than done. And, of course, this is family business. So you know what happens in the family stays in the family. So let's get to the breakdown of this matchup between two teams in the AFC South really looking to position themselves for a playoff push in the 2013 season. 6-3 first place Indianapolis Colts on the road taking on the 4-5 Tennessee Titans. A huge game for Tennessee after they laid an egg a week ago against Jacksonville. This is a must-win. If they win against Jacksonville last week, they would have some cushion here to drop this game and still be relatively in this race. With that loss against Jacksonville, now this becomes a must-win football game for Tennessee. Let's see how they fared in this football game. So you kick off the game, Titans get the football first, and this is exactly how you want to start this game off if you're the Tennessee Titans. 8-play, 80-yard drive, capped off by a CJ2K 30-yard touchdown run. Ryan Fitzpatrick, marvelous on that opening drive. A lot of no huddle on that first drive. A lot of empty backfield. A lot of Ryan Fitzpatrick running the show. A lot of this was scripted as well. Don't get it twisted. But Fitzpatrick was very comfortable in that shotgun spread look. No backs. Nobody back there but himself. He was throwing the ball around. A lot of crossing routes in this game for the Tennessee Titans. A lot of short passes to intermediate routes. Trying to catch the football and get run after the catch. 5 of 6 on that drive. Capped off by a 30-yard CJ2K run. A beautiful run off tackle on the right side of that offensive line. And he takes off to the races. And they needed to get him jump-started in this game. Talked about that in the preview. 7-0 Titans. Chuck Pagano, again, missing an opportunity to challenge. And we saw this last week on Sunday Night Football versus the Texans. Pagano had an opportunity to challenge something. He didn't on that punt that was thought to be blocked. It actually was not blocked. I don't know the rules on that, so let me be clear on that. I don't know if he had the ability to challenge it or not. I know in the Sunday night telecast, Chris Collinsworth did, in fact, say that that was a reviewable play. Now, I don't know if the league went back and said, hey, that's not a reviewable play or not, but it doesn't matter. If you're Chuck Pagano, you throw the flag and you make the officials come over and tell you that that's not a reviewable play. You don't let them get away with roughing the kicker in a game where you needed that penalty at that time. Same thing here. You have a Ryan Fitzpatrick scramble out to the right side of the field. He goes to give himself up, but he doesn't slide feet first. If you slide head first, and we saw this earlier this season with Robert Griffin III versus the Detroit Lions. If you slide head first, you do not give yourself up until you are touched down. And so Fitzpatrick goes and dives head first. No one has touched him on the Indianapolis Colts defense yet. And the ball comes out. It's recovered clearly by a Colts defender, but he's marked down on the play. Pagano hesitates, and then at the last second decides he wants to throw the challenge flag. It's too late. The play has already been run. He doesn't get to challenge the play. He would have won that challenge. It would have been 1st and 10 from about the 24-yard line or so of the Tennessee Titans. That would have been prime field position for Andrew Luck and company to get on the board, possibly a touchdown. You're already in Adam Vinatieri field goal range at that point. So you need to challenge that play. Chuck Pagano is hesitating, and I don't know why, but he needs to start being a little bit more forthcoming with that flag. Okay, take the initiative, throw the flag, and let the officials tell you that you can or can't challenge, and let those guys sort it out. But don't be afraid to throw the challenge flag. That's why you have it, and you would have won that challenge if you would have thrown the flag on that play. So Titans get an opportunity to hold on to the football, and they don't waste that opportunity. 11 plays, 68 yards, capped by another Chris Johnson run. CJ2K, this time from 7 yards out. Fitzpatrick 2 of 2 on that drive. Johnson dominating the football game in the first 11 minutes of this game, first 2 possessions for the Titans, if you're keeping track at home. He's got 8 carries, 70 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He's dominating the game. The Titans are moving the ball up and down the field. If you're the Colts, this is what you were afraid of. After losing by 30 at home, 38-8, and really being dismantled and taken apart by the St. Louis Rams, here you are giving up 14 right off the bat on the road to Tennessee. This isn't a good start to the game for the Indianapolis Colts. It's 14-0. Titans are doing exactly what they set out to do in this game. Send a message to this Colts team that, hey, we're not going away. We're going to fight you tooth and nail for this division, but you got to win this game. Good start to the game, but you got to finish. It's not how you start. It's how you finish the football game. So a disastrous start to the drive that happened after that touchdown. As the ball is kicked off, it lands in the corner of the end zone. David Reed allows it to bounce. Instead of him picking it up and downing it, he thought it was going to go out of bounds, so he allows it to bounce. It takes a gratuitous bounce for the Tennessee Titans, bounces back into the field of play. Then Reed has to pick it up, gets back to about the 7-yard line, but now you're pinned inside your own 10-yard line. Andrew Luck and company already down 14-0. This is a bad break for the Indianapolis Colts. But Colts, don't fret. They start this drive at around the 5-yard line, move the ball down the field. It stalls out after a DHB drop. And again, I talked about Darius Hayward-Bay in the preview for this game. He can't catch. He can't catch. As my ex-high school coach used to say, he couldn't catch claps in a whorehouse. Look, I didn't say it. He said it. But the pass was tipped in his defense. He still wouldn't have caught it, even if it wasn't tipped anyway. But he drops the football. Then you have a false start penalty right after that. It leads to a 48-yard field goal by Adam Vinatieri. It's now 14-3. So you get on the board, but not the way you were hoping to. But if you're the Colts, you've stopped the bleeding at this point. You got a little bit of peroxide. You went ahead and you put it on that cut, and you stop the bleeding. Now you need some ointment and a Band-Aid. Let's see what happens as you try to finish out this half. Titans waste a golden opportunity to get a touchdown. To me, if you're a Tennessee Titans fan, and I don't know if you think that the Devon Wiley fumble is the turning point in the game. Many of you probably do. Colts fans alike probably think the same thing. For me, this is the turning point of the game right here. This is where the game changed. Because if you get a touchdown out of this possession and go up 21-3, for me, for all intents and purposes, this game is over. Not like Andrew Luck and company can't run off 24 unanswered points and beat you 27-21. We saw them do it a week ago on Sunday Night Football against the Houston Texans. They can score some points. They were down 21-3 in that game. They came back and won. So it's not like that's uncharted territory for them. However, this is a little bit different. You guys had the momentum in this game. They're struggling. And I feel like if you get in the end zone here, you would have scored 3 times in the first half. This is a Titans team that doesn't score, 30 points, that doesn't score a whole heck of a lot of points. You get 21 in the first half, and this defense is allowed to really do some things and come after Andrew Luck. I think you got this football game. Your defense is good enough to preserve an 18-point lead. So I really feel like you get a touchdown here, this game could be, not saying that it is, could be over. Instead, you have to settle for a field goal. And look, you can't waste 3 personal foul penalties on one possession. How often does that happen in the National Football League? I venture to say that might have happened once in the last 5 years of NFL football action. Teams don't give up 3 personal foul penalties on one possession. It's rare. Maybe the Raiders have done it in the last 5 years. They're notorious for picking up penalties, but that's pretty hard to do. And they did it on this possession. Mathis with the late hit on the quarterback, Vaughn with the late hit, and then Walden, his was the most egregious of them all. He's probably going to hear from the league office. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets suspended for headbutting a helmetless Delaney Walker. He's going to hear from the league. He's definitely going to see a hefty fine. He's going to be docked a pretty penny. But he might also lose a game behind those actions there. So it'd be interesting to see how that unfolds. But you get the ball essentially pushed all the way down the field by the Colts, and you can't take advantage. You don't want to win the football game. You don't want to win the game if you got to settle for a field goal after they have essentially given you an opportunity to score a touchdown. That's 45 yards worth of penalties. Whew. 17-3 now after the field goal for the Titans. Missed opportunity there. One that I felt like was going to come back to haunt you in this football game. Luck in the 2-minute drill field goal, 17-6 at the half. Let me explain this real quick. To me, in this young career of Andrew Luck, he's shown me, and this was the first thing I noticed because all the hoopla and the hype coming out of college about Andrew Luck and how he's a can't-miss prospect, I had to see it for myself because at the time, I watched college football, but I wasn't into it as heavily. So I really didn't know the legend of Andrew Luck quite yet. So that first game against the Chicago Bears, my first time really watching Andrew Luck in the NFL, of course that was his first game. The thing that stuck out to me the most, that jumped off the screen, was the 2-minute drill of both halves. Andrew Luck is cerebral right before the half in the 2-minute drill and at the end of the game. That's why he's so clutch at the end of football games. That's why he's Mr. Comeback. Because in a 2-minute drill, when he has to call the plays on the fly, when he's got to get everybody situated, when he's got to be the guy, there's not another quarterback right now to me, at least at his age, at this point in his career, that's better. I mean, yeah, you've got Brady, you've got Manning, you've got Breeze, you've got Rodgers, you've got some guys that can do some things. But for him to be only in his second season, there's not another quarterback better than him in the 2-minute drill. Give me Andrew Luck. And he does it again. It doesn't matter. He'll get his team in field goal range. He'll get him a touchdown. Whatever it calls for, he'll do it. And Andrew Luck is, to me, the best at that. He did it again in this game, getting his team a field goal right before the half. So that gives you a little bit of momentum going into the locker room, okay? It seems like only a field goal on the surface is 17-6. But what that does is it gives you momentum. You get the football if you are the Indianapolis Colts after the half. Now you got something to build off of. Come out of the half, 11-play, 74-yard drive to open up that second half for the Colts. Ends with a Donald Brown run into the end zone from 7 yards. Huge catch by Griff Whalen on that drive on third down. I said that Griff Whalen and other guys needed to step up collectively. They did that in this game. And that was a huge catch on third down. That was more of Andrew Luck throwing him open because he really didn't get separation. Cody Sensabaugh was right there, but it was a beautiful pass. Hit him right in the chest. He couldn't drop that. He converted on third down and ended up getting the touchdown. Luck 5 of 5 on that drive. So you start to see Andrew Luck coming alive. The Tennessee Titans at this point, to me, are in trouble because they had an opportunity to put this game not on ice, but put it at a distance where the Colts would start to doubt themselves. Now you leave that door open with that field goal. Here comes Andrew Luck. He's heating up. You're in trouble. You got to get something on this next drive. When you get the football, you need to get a field goal or something to respond, to cool Andrew Luck off, and to stretch this lead out to either a touchdown with a field goal or to 11 with a touchdown. You need to do something, though. You need to respond. And this is the response the Titans gave to that touchdown. Ensuing kickoff, Devon Wiley fumbles the football. Colts recover on the 20-yard line. And to me, after this failed opportunity to get in the end zone with the 3 personal fouls, this is your next biggest play of the game. For you, it might be the biggest play. For me, that was the runner-up because that fumble saw the Colts 2 plays later score a touchdown. Andrew Luck, you say what you want about Andrew Luck. He's athletic, okay? Now, it doesn't look like Cam Newton. It doesn't look like Russell Wilson or Colin Kaepernick or Robert Griffin III. But he's just as athletic as anybody you want to name at the quarterback position. Now, he looks like he's lumbering sometimes, and he looks like he's lead-footed. But I tell you what, he can pick it up. He can pick him up, and he can put him down. And when he gets out of the pocket, he's a load. I mean, at 6'4", 230, 235, you don't want to bring this guy down. And he moves a lot more quicker than people give him credit for. He's a lot more agile than people give him credit for. Nice little pump fake to get the defender in the air. Nice little in and out juke. He's in the end zone from 11 yards. It's now 20-17. Indianapolis Colts lead for the first time in this ball game. And that happened in a span of 51 seconds. Oh, how things can turn in a football game. You want to turn it over? You don't want to take advantage of opportunities to score touchdowns? This is what happens against teams that can score points with a assassin at the quarterback position like the Indianapolis Colts. So now the Titans are in the danger zone. Danger, Robinson. You're in the danger zone. You shouldn't be alone. You better figure out something fast, because if you don't, this game is going to slip away from you. One that you led 14-0. One that you led 17-3. You're now trailing 20-17, and you haven't even touched the football offensively in the second half. So, good challenge by Tennessee on a bad ruling by the officials. They gave the Colts the first down. It wasn't a first down. And Mike Munchak challenged, and it was a great challenge because the replay clearly and definitively shows that Andrew Luck doesn't make it anywhere near the first down marker, never makes it to the line to gain. I don't know what the officials saw or didn't see to overturn it, but apparently they didn't see enough. They don't overturn the call. And it comes back to haunt Tennessee because they end up losing a timeout on a challenge that they shouldn't have lost a timeout for. That should have been a 4th and inches. That should have been a punt. And that should have been Tennessee still with all 3 of their timeouts. Thought that was a bad ruling by the officials on that play. I didn't think they got it right. But it happens. Those calls when it's about spots in the football, especially when it's like a quarterback sneak or something like that, where a guy's in a pile, those are always hard to decipher and overturn. So like Mike Mayock said, he thought it was clear, just like I did, that it wasn't a first down. But he already had said and preferenced it with, hey, these are tough to overturn. Wouldn't be surprised if they don't overturn this. And that's exactly what happened. So tough break for the Titans. But again, don't look for the officials to give you opportunities. Don't look for the officials to give you breaks. Make your own breaks in the National Football League. You did not make your own breaks in this game. You fumbled the football. You didn't take advantage of 3 personal foul penalties on 1 possession that got you inside the red zone, and you had to settle for a field goal. You didn't make your breaks. You didn't take advantage of opportunities, so you put yourself in the position that you're about to be in this football game. So, first possession of the fourth quarter leads to a... Oh, and by the way, on that possession where Luck gets that first down, where I didn't think he didn't get it, they end up getting a field goal by Adam Vinatieri. So it's 23-17 now. Colts up by 6 in this football game. First possession of the fourth quarter leads to a Tennessee field goal. So they shaved 3 points off of that lead. Now it's 23-20, and that was kick-started by a horrible kick out of bounds on the kickoff by Pat McAfee. What is Pat Mac doing? Look, don't kick the ball out of bounds. Kick it off. You got a strong leg. Boot the ball, make them return it. You already got 1 fumble out of Devon Wiley. Kick it off and make him return the football. Looks like he was trying to pooch it into the corner or something. I don't know what Pat Mack was doing. Kick the football off, Pat Mack. What are you doing? What are you doing? They didn't franchise you to kick it out of bounds. Okay? So, it's 23-20 now. But this is an interesting possession right here. This one was, I thought, a foreshadowing of things to come for the end of this game for the Tennessee Titans. You get a stop, a crucial stop at that. You needed the football back. Colts moved the football down to around midfield, and you got off the field on third down. You needed that stop, and then you're backed up. They punt the football down inside the 10-yard line, and you get an opportunity to either tie this game or take the lead. And this is the sequence of plays that saw you have to punt. Okay. Justin Hunter, he's been huge for you all season long, making big grabs, acrobatic grabs. Well, Ryan Fitzpatrick gives him the opportunity to do just that on this possession when you had to have it. He tosses it up, it hits him right in his hands, and for the first time this year, Justin Hunter could not come through for the Tennessee Titans. Ball hits the ground and you're saying, oh, we needed that one, Justin. Don't get it. Next play, Fitzpatrick is behind Nate Washington, who is open and has a step on the defender on a slant route. It's behind him, allows the defender to rake down on the arm, force the football out, incomplete pass. If he hits him, and Fitzpatrick had been sharp all game on these short crossers and these short routes. So if he hits him in stride like he had been doing all game, I don't know, Nate might run with that one for a while. But instead, it's behind him. Nate has to try to adjust. Good play by the defender to rake down on the arm, get the ball out. It's incomplete. Now it's 3rd and 10. Now you throw a short crosser, which you have been doing all game long, to Kendall Hunter with a lot of success. Or excuse me, to Kendall Wright with a lot of success. And he catches it at about 4 yards. Almost gets the first down. Great shoestring tackle by Cassius Vaughn. Gets him down 1 yard short of the first down. You got to punt. And what happens after this punt essentially seals this game for the Indianapolis Colts. 11 plays, 74 yards, 5-minute drive. And this drive started with 8:30 left on the clock, essentially. You get the ball back with 3:30 after the Colts put together this beautifully, this was a masterful, beautifully constructed drive by Pep Hamilton. 11 plays, 74 yards, 5 minutes of the clock. And again, precious time in the fourth quarter. You needed to get off the field at some point. You couldn't do so. And they started off with a play action to Kobe Fleener, and he was money in this game. And I said, somebody else had to step up. And I said, I didn't know how they were going to circumvent that Reggie Wayne injury. Well, this is how they did it. They threw the football to Kobe Fleener. They threw the football to Kobe Fleener. They threw the football to Kobe Fleener. And I think he's going to have to get involved in the passing game a little bit more now. He's going to have to step up and fill in some of that void. Again, he can't fill it all by himself. But if he can fill the majority of it and allow those other receivers to do something here and there, like Griff Whalen had a big catch, like Darius Hayward-Bay had a little catch down the sideline. If you can have other guys chip in and the bulk of the production come from T.Y. Hilton and Kobe Fleener, you can get by. If Donald Brown can run the football the way he did in this game, you can get by if you're the Colts offensively with the way you played in this game. But you have to be consistent with this. So Donald Brown was money on that final drive. I mean, he spearheaded that drive. He ended it with a touchdown run. He was that drive. After the huge luck to Fleener completion down the sidelines on play action fake, it was the Donald Brown show. And I told Tennessee before the game started in the preview, if you want to win this game, stop the run. And I said, don't let Donald Brown rip off a 34-yard run. Well, you didn't let him rip off a 34-yard run, but you sure did let him rip off a couple of 17-yarders and a couple of 9s and a 6 and a 5. You let him bleed you to death is what you did. He didn't just come in and hack off your arm, but he sure did hack at your arm and he cut you and you just bled out. Donald Brown dominated in this game. And you let Donald Brown dictate to you what was going to happen on the ground. And you couldn't have let that, you couldn't allow that to happen. And you did. And so that was the big mistake of the Titans in this game. 14 carries, 80 yards, 5.7 a pop for Donald Brown. You're asking for a recipe to lose this game? That's it right there. Kobe Fleener, 8 catches, over 100 yards. Those guys did you in this game. So that extends the lead after Donald Brown gets in from about 7 yards out to 30-20. The game is essentially over. 2-minute warning for the Titans. They get the football back. They score quickly. They do their part. With no timeouts left, a strike to Nate Washington for about a 35-yard gain. Then Delaney Walker gets in on a corner route. So they strike quickly, which is what they had to do. But with no timeouts, you got to get the onside kick. They don't get the onside kick. Colts recover, take knees, win the game 27-30. Colts go to 7-3 on the season. And that drops the Titans to 4-6 and essentially drops them out of the AFC South race. I mean, you need an absolute meltdown on the part of the Indianapolis Colts, and you have to play flawless football in conjunction with that meltdown to come back and win this division. You had your opportunities. You lose to Jacksonville, and then you lose a 14-point lead on 2 separate occasions in this game at home. You deserve to not be in this race if you are Tennessee. Doesn't look good for Mike Munchak. He had opportunities to get it done these last 2 weeks, and he failed miserably. And so the Indianapolis Colts, huge win. I can't state that enough. I said we were going to see what this Colts team was made of after that loss at home to the St. Louis Rams a week ago. We were going to find out the intestinal fortitude of this team and what they had inside. And we found out this team is built for a playoff run. Now, look, I don't know how far you can go without Reginald Wayne. I don't know where this is going to take you and when you get off of that ride. I don't know where your stop is, but you're going to get a home playoff game. And if you play well enough, you could find yourself vying for a first-round bye. And if you're the Colts, that's what you need to be aiming for. Get 12-4. Find yourself at 11-5 and give yourself a chance at the end of the season to get a first-round bye. And then come off of that bye and play a home playoff game and try to shorten out your path to the Super Bowl. And look, I don't want to start talking crazy because, again, to me, you still have issues. And this falling behind by 21 points, 14 points every game, you got to stop that. At some point, you got to get off. And I know Chuck Pagano stressed that all week with this team. You got to find a way to get off to better starts. You caught a break with the Titans turning it over and not being able to get in the end zone and having to settle for field goals. You caught some breaks in this game, but you also made your breaks. That's what good teams do. They take the breaks that the other team gives them, and they make some breaks of their own, and they win football games. Andrew Luck has been just phenomenal in his career at bringing his team back from deficits. He did it again in this game, and you have to start getting off to better starts. But it's always good to know that you've got that joker in your back pocket. And if you fall down by 10 or 13 or 14 or 17 early in the ball game, you've got Andrew Luck. You've got that 18 card that you can pull out. And that 18 card is a hell of a card. And when you play it, you got a shot. And so did I call him the 18 card? Woo! Too many years of Peyton Manning have been programmed. You got that 12 card, okay? And you can pull that 12 out of your pocket. And a lot of teams aren't ready to deal with Mr. Luck. It's not lucky anymore. It's not lucky. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. But it isn't lucky. Tell you that much. If you are the Indianapolis Colts, you went and did exactly what you needed to do in this game. You went and you put this division on ice. This division is done. It's finished. You did what you had to do to put this division away, and that's what I said you needed to do. You got in the car, you turned the ignition, you put the car in drive, and now you're driving away. And this division is all yours. Run with it. Never look back. And so, Colts get it done. 30-27. They're 7-3. Titans fall to 4-6. This thing is over. Game, set, match in this division. Huge win by the Tennessee Titans. Damn, huge win by the Indianapolis Colts on the road, handling that family business the way that they needed to on the road. So that's going to do it for this edition of In the Lab Room. I picked the Titans. I guess that's why I keep subliminally wanting to say the Titans won this game, because I thought they could get it done. But the Colts, once again, proved that they're a good football team, and no matter how far they're down, they're not out, because they have Andrew Luck, that 12 card. They can pull that joker out of their pocket, slam it down on the table, and come back and win football games. And that's what they did here. So the Colts get it done, and now they've got this division wrapped up. So that's going to do it for this installment of In the Lab Room. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. That'll be on Sunday when I break down all of the matchups, Monday, all of the matchups in the National Football League in week number 11.